It is getting clear to Dick and Harry that the insecurity ravaging the entire southeastern region is not being fueled by IPOB or the preference agitators. Of most recent, we are seeing escalations of insecurity in the eastern parts of the country or the defunct Biafran territory, most especially the five states of the east. Is quite very disturbing. As some persons have argued that these are the agitators, those who are fighting for Biafra. We are the one responsible for the insecurity. That is quite mischievous. Now it is getting very clear that after the arrest of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, Simon Ekpa, the insecurity persists. What does that tell you? There are non-state actors, people who have vested interest, not because they are fighting for the freedom of their people. They are exploiting the opportunity, the unrest in the East, to make billions of dollars through, through organ harvesting, kidnapping, and the rest of them. It is getting more clearer now as people cannot understand that people who are causing unrest, insecurity, killings, adoptions, kidnappings are using it for business. They are not after the fight for independence of Biafra or the struggle for self-determination. It is getting clearer now. The invasion by the Fulani militias, of course, we all know, necessitated the formation of Eastern Security Network by Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to fight the insurgents, land grabbers, invaders from the border lines or the forest. This was the intention why, in the first instance, the Eastern Security Network was established by Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. As a result of the failure of the government to protect the people, protect the indigenous people, it has happened on several occasions where villagers have been rounded up, killed, invaded, including children are being slaughtered and hacked to death. Even the nursing mothers are not spared, not even their children. This compelled Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to say, no, we are going to set up Eastern Security Network, ESN, to combat with invaders whose primary objective was to annihilate, kill, and occupy the eastern region or the Igbo land. So this necessitated the reason why Mazi Nnamdi Kanu floated the Eastern Security Network as a result of the failure of the Eastern governors to provide security for their people, which they took an oath of allegiance under the Constitution to do. Now, when you consider what's happened very not far from most recently, you understand that the military personnel in Ebonyi State assured the indigenous people, the locals, the communities, that they should not be afraid. There is not going to be any attack because they got the intel 5 days before the strike. Even the day that they struck, the military assured them that they should go about their duties as normal. There is no any threat of any sort. 1 hour after the military left, vacated, the people came, they slaughtered, they killed, they massacred, burned down houses, raided down everything, and the military has to return back to see people lying in their own pool of blood. It is quite very disturbing situation and development. So how could you now have confidence in the military when they tell you nothing is happening and eventually 1 hour thereafter, people were lying in their own pool of blood. Their houses have been razed down, killed, and massacred. Children's not even spared. So, what does that tell us? There is something more to it than what we are seeing. Of course, you couldn't convince the people again to have reposed confidence in the security architecture system. Reasons why Canadian government has to deny the chief of defense staff and other service chief, of course, visa entering into Canada because they can't identify, they can't fathom the reason why people should be killed and the Nigerian citizen could not be defended by the same chief of defense staff and the military chiefs. It is quite disturbing. Now, away from these Fulani invaders or marauders or Fulani militias or jihadists under the camouflage of herders, of course, we have seen the conflict between opposition parties. What happened in Anambra State and the rest of them have resumed killings, attack, just as Uzodinma in Imo State once affirmed that what is disturbing people fighting him are not IPOBs. These are his political opponents, political rivals. Now, if he can come and make such statement, why should people be blaming the IPOB? Why should people continue to blame the indigenous people of Biafra or the Biafran agitators? Uzodinma, the governor, came to say that he knows people fighting him. They are not IPOB, they are not agitators, they are his political rivals. There are people who don't want him there. By all means, they are sponsoring their own thugs, uh, assassins, snipers, and the rest of them just to destabilize his government and the rest of them. Anyone calling IPOB or trying to link IPOB with all this insecurity or the agitators are being mischievous or perhaps want to create some narratives to fit his own agenda or intentions against the Eastern people. It is very clear. Now, if the governor, the executive governor, who happens to be the chief security of the state, can tell you that he has the details, people fighting him are not IPOB, they are not agitators. They are opponents, oppositions who have formed themselves against him. Perhaps he might be within the same party, but then they don't want him there. Or perhaps they believe that he has taken undue advantage of them, following the, of course, one transpired that led to his emergence as the governor of Imo State. Now, these are very clear. So you can understand that what is happening now, even after the summon of Mazin Nnamdi Kanu, is not the agitators. The next insecurity unrest happening in the eastern region is organ harvesting ritualists, young men who are desperate for quick money are cashing out, killing their own people, killing their own people. Majority of them is even the Igbos in this case, in this regard, or perhaps they are recruiting people from different parts of the country, the north, to facilitate such for them. You see, killing and adopting, kidnapping their own brothers just for ritual, just like what is happening in Anambra that prompted the governor of Anambra to start this reaction approach, trying to call or suspend all form of uh, traditional witch doctors and the rest of them, that they have to register to and define what they are doing. Because young men who are desperate because of the economy, unfortunately, are now using their own fellow human beings for money rituals and the rest of them, and organ harvesting. You see, which is, of course, a very booming market in Africa today. Yes, organ harvesting is booming. And you know what that means? You have to pay thousands of dollars just for one organ and the rest of them. So this is encouraging the younger ones. And those influencers are corrupting or contaminating, creating false narrative and impression that will compel other people to join them, which is outrightly wrong. Perhaps this could have informed the reason why Governor Soludo said, after I have some, of course, reflection, that even though Mazin Nnamdi Kanu is released today, it might not end the insecurity. Why? Because he's referring to those ritualists, those quick money syndrome, who may want to continue perpetrating their evil against their own people, just for the sake of money, 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 and nothing else. Well, let's have your take in this development. So, what does this imply? That the Biafrans agitators have been vindicated, that they are not responsible for this security. You see, that is ravaging in the entire eastern region. They are only committed to the fight for the liberty and the self-expression or self-determination of their own people. They don't have to kill their own people because of fighting for Biafra. Those killing their own people are mischievous, notorious, of course, personalities cashing out, taking undue advantage of the restiveness in the East, created mostly by the agents of the state, the politicians themselves, and the Fulani militias, and the rest of them, the organ harvesters and uh, quick uh, get rich, get quick rich syndrome, and or whatever you can call it. It is very clear now, and is becoming more clearer for the world to see what is exactly happening. And with these developments, you can understand that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was really right, saying that, maintaining that it is his right to fight for Biafra. He's not fighting for Biafra to kill Biafrans, but to defend Biafrans and to correct the oppression and suppression Biafrans over the decades has been subjected to, which is very glaring and becoming uh, vividly clear what he stands for. And he has been vindicated today